and got a chance to meet the teacher and all those fancy things. And it was, boring as usual. I hate to say that. I mean, I'm excited about my daughter going to school, and I want to do everything I can to be supportive, but I can't deny the fact that it's mind-numbingly boring. The first part of the day was us going and watching and observing the class, and we got to watch math class today. And we basically just all lined up along the back of the classroom and stood on our feet, staring blankly out into space for 40 minutes while the teacher did her thing. And it was what it is. It was fun to be there to kind of get a vibe of how she runs her classroom. But it was pretty boring, and of the 40 kids that are in my daughter's class this year, maybe about 20 of the parents showed up. This year, that was one thing that was kind of disappointing for my daughter this year, is that there were 2 classes of 20, but this year they dumped them all into 1 class of 40. And, 3rd grade is notorious for being the year when things start getting hard, and we really were hoping that they'd keep things separate so that the kids could get more time to really grow and catch on to things. But, not gonna fly, I guess. They're being cheap and losers, so they made us all be in 1 class. But and it's overwhelming to be in a class of little, 8-year-olds, and there's 40 of them. I have no idea how that teacher's going to do it. But so we got to do that, and then a little bit later we went back for our PTA meeting, and again, maybe only about half the parents showed up to this. We just go around and, kind of talk about lame things that don't really matter at this point. Later on, we might talk about some things that are a little bit more important, but it's essentially just a way of showing support that you are part of the community. One of the things that we do is we pay a PTA fee, and this averages out to being, how much did I wind up paying? I think I paid about 6,000 yen for the year. So, that's like about $50, $60. And that's supposed to cover different events that are sponsored by the PTA. We have a recreation day where we all get together and the kids play dodgeball and stuff. And, little snack bags are given out to the kids for that. I really, they make this elaborate sheet about all the places of how their money's used, and it all seems a little ridiculous to me, but you shut up and pay, because that's what everyone else does here. But there are a few people who detract and don't participate, but it's very rare. Kind of along the similar lines is another thing that's sort of kind of pushed upon you, and you may not even really want to be a part of it, and that's called kodomokai. And it's sort of like a kids club where it's done by neighborhood. So the kids that are in a certain area are all pooled together, especially during summer vacation, to do special events. And in the place where we live, in the Hobunk place that we live, and in the Hobunk neighborhood that we live, we're really literally like one of only a handful of kids that go to school at that elementary school. And so, it meant only being with like 4 or 5 families, not really very big. But the thing that they do to make you feel like you have to join is we pay for our school lunch. And school lunch is about 4,000 yen a month, which is, about $30, $35. And school lunch is, required for all kids. Kids don't bring their own lunch. You eat lunch at school. And it's awesome. I have to say, the food here is amazing. It's all local. There's a lot of effort put into using local vegetables, local meats, local fish and stuff like that. So it's freshly made in this area, and sometimes on site even. There is some frozen foods, but not a lot. And a bunch of really talented chefs come in here and cook for our kids every day. If I could get a chance to show you guys a picture of what it looks like, you'll be amazed. I know there's some websites that do share this, and it's something that's really beautiful about Japan and how they work really hard to have good lunches. But you have to pay, which is fine. I would expect to pay. I don't mind paying. But the trick is that they used to say that you could pay by providing a bank account, and then they would do an automatic withdrawal, which would be awesome, and then I don't have to worry about it every month. But apparently some parents complained. They thought that wasn't fair because they felt like they were being forced to pay, which is stupid because everybody pays anyway. But the school decided to change their mind, and they decided to ask people to pay cash. Now, and the way they make it sound is that the only way you could pay is if you pay the leader of your, neighborhood group that your kid is a member of. Now, to be a member of that neighborhood group, you also have to pay a fee, and the fee is meant to pay for summer events like a summer barbecue, and that's about it. They don't really do anything else any other part of the year. It's just really during the summer. Maybe they have a day where they go swimming at the pool at the school, and then they maybe do like a barbecue. But when my daughter was in first grade and we were deciding if we were going to join this, we checked into it all, and the information given to us was really sketchy. We asked for a schedule of what the neighborhood club does, where their money goes, why do we have to pay all this money. And essentially what they told us was that because there were so few people, we had to pay like twice what we would normally have to pay, which wound up being like $80, and it was really poorly organized and poorly explained. So we were like, no, we're not going to do this. And, we weren't really comfortable anyway because there's not very many kids involved as it was. So we backed out. And so what that means is that I have to bring my money for the lunch fee every month personally to the school. And I go on the same day when all the other, neighborhood club leaders are going and delivering the big bulk of everybody's money. So it's a little tricky if you're not used to it and you're not familiar to it. You can feel a little bit like you're doing something terrible and bad because you're the only one who's showing up with an individual envelope. But I got over it and I was just like, whatever, here, it's me, here's my money. But, there's some things like that that definitely make you feel, it's not like written in stone that you have to do it, and it's certainly not required in any way, shape, or form, but there's a huge, really quiet hush of kind of forced action on everybody to participate. So I think, it's tricky. You don't want your kid to stand out as being the kid of the family, the only family who doesn't do PTA. You don't want that kind of, stigma put on your kid. And so I think, you have to kind of choose, what kind of, beliefs and morals do you really have to fight for, and which ones do you just kind of give up on because they're really not that important. And to be really honest, this stuff is really not that important at all. So, much, much bigger issues in the world than paying a little bit every month for PTA meetings.